There have been many great rim protectors in postseason history, and then, on a level of his own, there was Dikembe Mutombo in the 1994 playoffs. As a member of the Denver Nuggets, Mutombo was experiencing the prime of his career and was destroying records along the way. In the first round of the playoffs, his 8th-seeded Nuggets were taking on the dominant and highly favored 1st-seeded Supersonics. In a best-of-5 series, after falling to a 2-0 deficit, Mutombo helped lead his Nuggets back to win the next 3 games straight, to ultimately defeat the Supersonics and achieve one of the greatest upsets of basketball history. Over the course of that series, Mutombo averaged an insane 6.2 blocks per game, which is the highest average for a playoff series that the league has ever seen. It wasn't just a flash in the pan either. In the very next series against the favored Utah Jazz, Mutombo helped push the Jazz to 7 games, as he averaged 5.4 blocks over that hard-fought series. That's the highest average in a 7-game series that the league has ever seen, meaning he broke records in back-to-back playoff rounds. Not only that, but in both of those playoff series, Mutombo averaged more blocks than the entire opposing team combined. To simply say that he was an all-time great defensive anchor would be selling him tremendously short. The 2021-22 Lakers had a disappointing season to say the least, but beyond that, believe it or not, there's actually facts that at least present a case of how this team is the most disappointing team of all time. According to the preseason odds, the Lakers were projected to win 52.5 games over the course of the regular season. At the time I'm writing this script, it is impossible for Los Angeles to finish with more than 33 wins. Regardless of the exact number of wins, they'll have the greatest deficit from the preseason odds that the league has ever seen. As I've mentioned in past videos, I expected this team to be disappointing, but not this disappointing. Speaking of the terrible 2022 Lakers, at the time I'm writing this, they just recently wrapped up an 8-game losing streak. They were dangerously close to setting a new record for the worst losing streak in franchise history. The current record is a pair of 10-game losing streaks. The first came from the 93-94 Lakers, whose best player was arguably Vlade Divac. The other was in the 15-16 season, which was Kobe's farewell year, which was pretty brutal up until the final game of that regular season. The thing that's most stunning about that 2022 Lakers team is that they're easily more talented on paper than the other 2 Lakers squads. When it comes to the Defensive Player of the Year award, there have been many snubs and near misses throughout the years. For example, Tim Duncan and Scottie Pippen are widely recognized as 2 of the greatest defenders to ever live, yet neither of them ever won a single Defensive Player of the Year award. But with that being said, there may have been no one who was closer to winning the award than the Spurs defender Bruce Bowen. In 3 years straight, from 2005 to 2007, Bruce Bowen was the runner-up for the Defensive Player of the Year award. Furthermore, in 5 straight years, from 2004 to 2008, Bowen finished as a top 4 player in the Defensive Player of the Year race. Maybe the craziest fact is that in the entirety of the 2000s, no player other than Ben Wallace got more Defensive Player of the Year votes than Bruce Bowen. Not Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Shaq, Metta World Peace, or Marcus Camby. Bowen got more votes than all of them. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in a parallel universe, Scottie Pippen was a Seattle Supersonic. Why do I say this? It's because of the fact that Scottie nearly put on a Seattle jersey not once, but twice. The first instance was on his draft day when he was selected with the 5th overall pick by the Sonics before the Chicago Bulls acquired him in a trade for Olden Polynice. The second instance isn't as widely known, but it came in 1994, when Pippen was in the middle of drama with the Bulls front office. The near deal to the Sonics was a trade for the dynamic Shawn Kemp. Of course, a Michael Jordan and Shawn Kemp tandem is interesting to think about, but also a pairing of Gary Payton and Scottie Pippen may have given Seattle the greatest perimeter defense in NBA history. Back in the 90s, Grant Hill was truly on his way to becoming an all-time great, before his ankle injuries began to derail his career. He was athletically gifted and had skills that had an impact on numerous aspects of the game. After his first 6 seasons in the NBA, he had accumulated a total of 9,393 points, 3,417 rebounds, and 2,720 assists. In the history of the league, only 3 players have eclipsed those numbers in their first 6 seasons. and they were Oscar Robertson, Larry Bird, and LeBron James. If that doesn't give you an idea of the potential we saw in Hill back in the 90s, then probably nothing will. There have been many high flyers who have amazed audiences on All-Star weekends, but since the creation of the NBA dunk contest, only 2 teammates have won the award in consecutive years. Any guesses on who those 2 players are? It was 2 sensations from the 1980s, Dominique Wilkins in 1985 and Spud Webb in 1986, who played as teammates for the Atlanta Hawks. In most sports, it's very rare for a superstar player to be selected outside of the first round of the draft, but it is especially rare in the NBA. Case in point, only 2 second-round picks have ever gone to win the MVP award, and that was Willis Reed in 1970 and Nikola Jokic in 2021. Assuming the Joker actually wins his second MVP this season, he'll become the first second-round player to win multiple MVP awards. Last year, Giannis, also known as the Greek Freak, had one of the all-time great NBA Finals series, as he dominated on the court in numerous ways. One of those aspects was his elite scoring, as he had 3 separate performances in the NBA Finals where he scored at least 40 points. To give you some perspective on just how rare and impressive that is, consider this. Giannis now has as many 40-point games in the NBA Finals as Larry Bird, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Kobe Bryant do combined. Turning the ball over is a part of the game, and in many instances, it's the greatest facilitators who actually average the most turnovers, because they're the players who take the greatest risks while running the offense. With that being said, there are a few exceptions, and the biggest one is DeMarcus Cousins. He's famous for getting a lot of technical fouls, but that's not the only way he's been known to hurt his team. Among centers, DeMarcus Cousins has the highest career turnovers per game average in NBA history at 3.3. Despite not being the floor general, he still has a higher career turnover per game average than risky passers like Steve Nash and Jason Kidd. Which one of these facts was the most interesting, and do you have any new facts to share with the rest of us? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.